Alright guys, I said I would have more this week, and I do. But from now on, at least for the time being, since I'm really busy for the next few months, I'm going to have to switch to posting every other week instead of every week. There's only so much that one person can handle, and I found that out the hard way. Does this mean I'll have more to show per video? Maybe. It's mostly so that I don't stress about making videos so much, and I'll be able to focus more on the game, and have time to do my other projects and stuff. Anyways, here's what I've done this week. Remember that spool of ribbon I tried to make last week? Well, I sorta remade it. This time, I actually made it a full spool and not just the top part of it. And now it's in darker, brighter color, to better fit the mood I was going for. I was even smart enough this time to actually save the colors I was using. And then I decided it looks bad and I remade it again. I made the new version flatter since the round didn't look quite right. Not sure if I like it better, but at least it's easier to draw. I even made variations to the color and started a region color palette.
Look at these amazing ribbons. I love the purple color.
It'll mostly be this bronze, magenta, and purple, but I added this bright blue to maybe highlight important stuff. Not sure if I'll actually do that or not. I also made two different shaded versions for the foreground, one with more subtle shading and the other with darker shading. I also just made a fully black silhouette version too. Then I decided it would be cool to have some height variation, so I made some spools that were short, and then I also made a silhouette version of that too. I thought it would be cool to make pillars of spools for the background and foreground, and maybe for walls, so I made these varying stacks of spools that I can use. I also made some silhouette versions of those too. Also, there's this random thread that I made for foreground elements. And before you ask, no, this is not what the entire region's gonna look like. There's gonna be a lot more to it than just spools of ribbon. I actually wanted there to be more of other stuff than ribbons. Like, the ribbons wouldn't be the main focus, they'd just be more scattered around, kinda. I don't know how to explain it. Alright, I think I yapped enough about ribbons. On to some other stuff. Recently I was playing this game to hopefully get a better idea of how game backgrounds work.
I think I've heard of that game before. Is it Rain World 2?
And from my experience playing it, I learned something very important. I do not want my game to look like this.
But why not? This game is super pretty.
Well, it's pretty, but when the art style gets too detailed, it makes it really hard to see the important stuff, and it can make the game experience more frustrating. I gotta be more simplified. But how am I gonna do that? Lately, I haven't had much to watch since I like binging every show that I think might be interesting. I got curious one day, so I started watching this show.
What does this have to do with anything?
Oh my gosh, I fell in love with the art style. It looks so yummy that I could eat a 5-course meal of that stuff every day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and still want more for dessert. Since I'm trying to keep things in pixel art, I'll try to keep the edges sharp and clean, and with minimal gradients and blur. Unless it's further in the background, of course. I've got a new style in mind for making backgrounds, and you know what that means.
Microwave.
Skylar, no. You don't have to do this. Please. The ribbons already look good, just leave it.
Bye bye, ribbons. I'll be remaking you very soon. I'll be keeping the shape and colors, but the style of them will change. Mostly just the way I colored them, since I already made the shape in a more simplified way. Good thing this new style matches the Kip sprite sheet, so I won't have to change anything about that. In fact, I think this new style matches Kip better than before. You'll see it better in a minute. These new changes made me reflect on my grass that I made on week 1. When I went to touch grass, I was on a road trip, driving past a lot of country roads with grassy fields and old wooden fences. The exact aesthetic that I wanted when I was making this area. I learned a lot about grassy fields and wooden fences on that trip, and now it's time for me to use that information. I already liked the idea I was going for with the fences, so I redrew them very similarly. Just more in the style that I want. I also added lots of moss and overgrowth to them, since I thought it would be pretty.
Look at all those fences. I love when devs add mossy details to their environments.
To achieve my new style, I limited myself to 2 to 3 colors per object, like this wood, or these leaves. I also made a bunch of variations that can be mirrored and layered, so I can make a lot of combinations and avoid things looking too similar. The wood, moss, ferns, and leaves are all on separate layers, so I can mix and match and make a whole lot of combinations, so nothing will look exactly the same. You might notice a bunch of leaves at the top, and that's because I didn't want to have to redraw all the leaves individually, so I just drew 12 of them and mirrored them, and copy-pasted them onto the fence. And if I had to make any custom leaves, I could just draw them by hand, like these leaves behind the wood. I didn't actually have time to do anything else, since these background elements took so long to make, so I didn't actually get to the grass part, but I'll get to that soon. But I'm not too worried about making the grass. I'm worried about making the dirt. I don't know how to draw dirt. You saw it in the other video. That stuff looks horrible. I don't know where else to mention this, but I've decided that I don't want to use tiles anymore. They're too restricting, and it makes it really hard to achieve the look I'm going for. I know that means I'll have to manually make all the hitboxes, I think. But I'm sure that won't be too big of a deal. Right now I'm making pseudo tiles, which can be copy-pasted onto another file.